Comedian Joe Coy is bringing part of his stand-up routines to the big screen with the new feature film Easter Sunday. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new film Easter Sunday. Why is this coming out in August? Well, we can talk about that and perhaps some other issues with the film. But before we get into all of that, I do want to welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thanks for finding this video and my channel as well. Please consider subscribing to Dan Reviews It down below there. Would love to have you aboard there, or like this video, comment on this video. All of that stuff does help the channel out, and I would sure appreciate it. But let's get into this movie. Yes, this was supposed to come out April 1st of this year, so okay, obviously around the Easter season, and this movie does take place on and around Easter Sunday, as the title would indicate. So why early to mid-August? To be honest, I don't know. Maybe, Joe Coy obviously is getting some name recognition. You might recognize him from being a regular guest on the old Chelsea Handler talk show, or one of his Comedy Central or Netflix stand-up specials. And one of his key components, I think, to those routines is family. And so he brings us this story, and he didn't write it, but it's kind of based on, loosely based anyway, on some of his stand-up and some of his life stuff. He plays a single father here who's also named Joe, different last name, but he is sort of a struggling actor slash comedian. He has this one very popular series of beer commercials that he, is recognized for those, and people quote the tagline to him, but really he wants to be an actor, and part of this movie does involve him, trying to land this role on a TV show, but they want him to sort of play up the accent, the Filipino accent, which he doesn't really have. And so he's sort of torn between that, and then of course his Filipino family, very big and boisterous, and they can't wait to see him and his son, who he sort of is having an estranged relationship with. And then there's also this really bizarre sort of side plot, like a crime type of, action drama kind of thing. Not really action maybe, but more certainly with the crime drama stuff that doesn't really fit at all. But yeah, we can get to all of that. But yes, originally this was supposed to be released in April. I don't know why they didn't just decide to put it on the shelf until next April, because really Easter Sunday would connotate this as an Easter-based movie. And look, I guess not a lot of things are coming out this month, so I think it's Universal Pictures decided, okay, well, let's just throw it, against the wall and see what sticks. Comedies have been dying a slow death at the box office. We hardly get them anymore. Almost all major comedies go directly to streamers now. Just this year, you've got that latest Madea movie that went directly to Netflix. Unless it's like an animated kind of comedy, like The Bad Guys or Sonic the Hedgehog or something like that, really most of them will premiere on your streaming services. So with this movie, I think they were going for a big fat Greek wedding type of thing, maybe Crazy Rich Asians, where it's a funny movie sort of playing into maybe some of the stereotypes of a familial unit of that culture, but showing how relatable, that all is. I just watched Big Fat Greek Wedding earlier this year for an anniversary video that I did. You can check out that review on my channel. In April, I think, was the anniversary. So me and my buddy Joe reviewed it and watched it again, and it was incredible how relatable the characters were. Even though it's so specific to the Greek culture, it's very relatable. And I think that's what they were kind of going for here, bringing sort of that Filipino nature to a grander scale. And working at the movie theater, I did speak with one elderly patron who is Filipino, and she came out of that movie, shaking her head, laughing, and just saying, "That's my family. They got my family on that screen." So okay, obviously it is touching a nerve, maybe with some people, but unfortunately, the end result of this acts like more of a Madea movie, and that is not a positive comment. The Madea movies are all over the place. They have, like I said with this, with the different sort of genres trying to blend, Madea movies always have this message, and yes, it is over the top with the family, unrealistically so, really. I don't necessarily find that with this. I do find it more believable, at least, than a Madea movie, but going for that sort of crime side story in Easter Sunday reminds me a lot of those Madea movies where it's like there's always some other like dramatic, somebody's having an abortion or somebody gets raped or somebody, is, Medea's funeral, somebody dies, it's all sort of in that vein. And those Madea movies, I like that character of Madea, but the movie itself, for the most part, most of them are just not that good because there's too much going on and not all of the pieces ever fit together. And I found that with Easter Sunday. And Joe Coy is a likable enough leading man, I suppose. I don't think his acting chops are quite what they need to be to carry a movie, especially a comedy movie. His stand-up is pretty funny. I don't think he's, one of the top tiers, but from what I've seen of him, I can get it. But that does not always translate to acting. And here it makes sense that he's a stand-up, and I think the first scene of the movie is him doing stand-up, and it's really just, I think, Joe Coy himself in, a couple of years past, because it's at the Laugh Factory, and you see the big Laugh Factory sign. I think they just took that directly from old video of Joe Coy, but here they place it as if it's the character that he's playing, so that I got along with as the movie went on. The first few scenes, I was like, oh man, this guy can't really act. But then as it went on, I sort of settled in a little bit with that. But you've got some other people in this movie in more minor roles. Tiffany Haddish, obviously, is one of the other big names here. But Jimmy O Yang, Tia Carrere, and Lou Diamond Phillips playing himself, who I didn't realize he was of Filipino descent, but his mother is Filipino. So he fits right in with this movie as well. But it didn't all gel for me, and it just wasn't that funny. A couple of the moments are straight out of the Coy stand-up book. There's a Easter Sunday sermon that, he's the pastor sort of struggling with, and he's sort of ribbing the Joe Coy character for not attending church that often. He's like, hey, let me grab the mic. And he starts like launching into really what is a Joe Coy routine, but as the character. So, the worlds of like fact and fiction are sort of blending here. He's essentially playing himself. Let's be real. I don't know if he has a son or if he's a single father in real life, but that's the way they did the character. But yeah, I mean, we're just lifting now, I think, from his routines, and some of them, it works. Other times, maybe not. I will give the movie this. Towards the end, there's a karaoke scene that actually works for me. Usually, I hate a karaoke scene in a movie, especially like a romance movie or a comedy. But here, it's family karaoke. They're not actually going out to the bar, so that makes it a little bit different. And it actually was one of the more enjoyable scenes in the movie. But it happens at the very end, so by that point, you're kind of, all right, I'm over this movie and all the different directions it's taking and everything. So overall, look, I see what they were going for. I get that they wanted more, more of a Crazy Rich Asians vibe or Big Fat Greek Wedding vibe, but it really does come off more like a Madea, and that is certainly something for the negative category. So I leave Easter Sunday with a C-. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Dan Reviews It. Bye.